I got this last night. Well, I woke up and I got this bit, and I think it'll work for crown thorn.
Oh, okay.
And the place where it pointed was the place I knew I must journey to, for beneath the sky, born index lay, as once beneath a star, an infant that must again remake the world. Yeah? I mean, that's one of the reasons crown thorn was built, that an infant again must remake the world. It came through on the radar. You know how these things go.
Oh, yes.
And that's why I always now, Glenn, I try to have. This is a big piece of note paper, but I have it by the side of my bed, and if these things come through, I write them.
Yeah, you don't put it in your pocket, obviously.
I used to have real big pockets.
Yeah, well.
But
you poor man now, boy.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, once upon a time, I used to think I would remember these things. Well, you don't. And if you do, you don't remember them the same. So I have the pen there and the paper there. And even if I'm in a half dream and I sort of think to myself, you know, it just, you need more sleep. I go, hey, baby, get your ass on this. This is coming through, right? And so I wrote this last night.
I had an ex-girlfriend that'd say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Okay?
Yeah, well, you're taking us in another angle. Lay, one more time, lay as once beneath a star, like those three wise men, an infant that must again remake our world. All right.
All right.
And it's a beautiful piece of wood, and I smothered it in boiled linseed oil day before yesterday.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, well, we'll be having breakfast in a moment. That's old woodchucks. And I'm just laying in one coat, flat coat, and then we'll gloss oil it tomorrow. Notice, instead of going raw, I'm going on stuff that's already done. What a guy.
I'll tell you.
We're almost there. All right. Okay. We're going in?
We're going in. Folks, this is number 39. This is Adrian's abode.
This is where I live, not really where I make art. So look, I brought these two guys in for us because we were talking about the Minotaur.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I had a real piece of luck with this because I've already shot a piece, and the two people that made this, Alas made this one. This is Pasiphae.
Yeah.
She puts on that mask because she wants to make love with Astorian, who is the white bull, and they have a child called the Minotaur. So this is actually the Minotaur's dad. And Pasiphae was married to old King Minos, who everything he touched, he wanted to turn to gold, right? And he's actually the villain in my stories because of his bloodthirsty goldness desire. Although in my story, I have to say the Minotaur does not get killed by Theseus. And that's a bit of a tale because Ariadne, the beautiful Ariadne, is the one that gives Theseus that ball of string so he can get out of the maze, right? Yeah, but who is she? She's the half-brother of our boy here, of the Minotaur. And in my story, the Minotaur pretends to be killed.
She's the half-brother or half-sister?
Sorry, half-sister.
I was going to say, hey, look, in this day and age, believe me,
she can be either, right?
She might be identifying as a brother to them.
So she follows, the Minotaur follows her out, him out on the end of that string.
Okay.
And goes on to become a pimp and actually pimps his sister later on in Athens. So these stories go on.
Now here in my family.
Here we have, right? And that could well be her. Let me just... We have a little piece for that one. It could be Eve, right? It could be your last girlfriend, from what I heard. Stop. It could be anybody. It could be the muse. It could be anyone beautiful who is thwarted by events, by time. It could be things they've done themselves, but in fate, in kismet, being unduly, is the word punished? Cruel. So here we go. It's short. The bars back of her. The bars run down my face in this prison of tears. In solitary, even sorrow dies. The wickedness of walls, no light of earth, sky, sea, storm, only the constant terror of the electric light bulb on 24/7, incarcerated, forlorn, punished beyond punishment, cruel upon cruel, madness, your only prison gruel. But she escapes, I tell you, and she comes to tell her story and look after other wanderers at Low Keys Bar, which is beneath the bridge, just round the corner on the edge of the sticks, here in our very own Arkansas. Okay. Up here, let me show you one. This may be one of the oldest pieces. I am very lucky sometimes, Dan, and I get a cleaning lady coming in. She is far more than that, but she does deign to clean for me, and she has been a professional cleaner. And I have to spend 2 days getting it clean before she arrives, right? But her and her mom, who used to run this place, they were fascinated by this, not for its aesthetic beauty, but they'd say, situations where the truth, what's the rest of the story? And the problem is, I can't really remember, except I know it's got something to do with Mercury, and that Mercury, if Mercury is in whatever, in alignment, out of alignment, you get missed transgressions and all that kind of stuff, right? But I like it that it just hangs like that and there isn't specifically an answer. Okay? should we go to goodness?
We could go to goodness. It's about time you went to goodness. You've been mining the other territory for a while.
What did Mae West say?
If they're 20
No. When she said, "Oh goodness," and she said, "Goodness had nothing to do with it." So it's well, you tell me what you see.
Oh, gee. I see early American sort of. I see a family, a couple actually, working the land. Not just because of the pitchfork. And oh, gee, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Go
now.
on, go there as well.
Because it kind of goes along with that.
Well, I would say, wouldn't you? I can only give you one little clue on this. If you come down and hit that, this piece here is. This was the idea of this was given to me by Linda Torrey Griffin, who is my son's mother, and she came in and bought me that. Because that is a Native American symbol of a butterfly.
Oh, okay.
Right, and then we moved up. If you look in there, you'll see all the colours of almost like a butterfly's wings. Do you see it? I know I'm pushing it a little bit.
No.
And then
I can see it.
Their legend, and also an ancient Greek legend, is the butterfly is like the soul.
Yeah.
Right? And you do know about souls, I know.
Oh, yes.
You're only the ones on your feet.
I've lost mine in a card game before.
And here, of course, are the flowers. I was going to say I ought to bring them out because I started my lack of career drawing flowers. I went to art school and that, but I kind of fled all that. I got back to it sort of mistaken. A friend of mine called Rob Walker didn't want to teach his class in the crypt of the Truro Cathedral, right? Which is the main town in the part of Cornwall that I came from. So I had to go down and work in the crypt.
Oh, jeez.
Which is about as close
Was it like
as
bodies or something? I know we have different meanings. A crypt to me. Oh my God.
Anyway, we crept about in the crypt. And
a crypt creeper.
I can still remember phoning my dad up and saying, "How does that go, that vanishing point again, Dad?" And he said, yeah, it's got to be on eye level. It's got, you got to bring it in. Anyway, he gave me the old reminder of perspective. But what I was teaching, and I suddenly realized, I got to do this. I can't just go through the motion. So that had me sitting every bloody night, drawing plates and cups, because they have that ellipse on them, all that stuff. So that, in a strange way, after about a year, walked me back into making visual stuff. So I was lost from art, which some would say isn't such a bad idea, and I was returned by working in the Truro Cathedral crypt, because I had a strange bunch. I would have a young lady there who just wanted to, have that amount of time, but I'd have 2 or 3 much older people, nearly as old as me now, who wanted to rekindle that, right? So instead of it just being a job where I got a few dollars, pounds back in that day, sovereigns even, were they doubloons? Was it that long ago? Yes. And I still know where they are hidden, because, where I come from is a smuggler's place. That actually restarted me on making art through guilt, because I had to stand there and say, when you do that, when I couldn't. So I sat in my little room, and looked out the window, and I had flowers, bloody daffodils. It's funny, I could draw them better than I could pick them, because I failed, Glenn. This is one of that I've never put on my resume, and I always should have done. failed the interview for picking daffodils. Not bad, eh? I mean, there's not many that can say that. I did pass the one for picking potatoes, but we got fired. Anyway, let's go.
Okay.
Let's try the truth.
All right, the truth. You're going to face the truth, finally, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
And that one again.
That reminds me, if I had to say something, it relates to the couple that I see here. But this is when the truth has finally hit them that maybe some things aren't going to work out.
I love it. So much better than what I can think of. I love it.
Oh, gee.
And I tell you one thing that I should remember, that I thought about these, because I told Siddy and his lovely girlfriend, Sarah, yesterday. I said, I'm not going to say anything about them. And they looked at me like, you always, you know, there's no chance of that. I said, I'm going to ask Glenn what he thinks. And it's good because look, there's something said about artists and poets. It's not necessarily true of all of them. But criticism, or not, I don't mean criticism like put down, I mean criticism in art criticism.
Right.
It is often done by people who don't make art, but they're very good at criticism. In a sense, is separate from poetry. So you may be able to explain your poetry, but you may fucking not. But that doesn't mean you aren't good at it and you don't know what you're doing. But explaining it is like a lie, because
it's a whole art in explaining it.
Right? Yes, and in a way, if you have to explain it, what the fuck did you make it for?
Yeah.
You know, like it's physical.
You almost want it to be different things to different people.
Right, and then I thought I can't do this one properly, but I love this one. I love this one because it's kindness mended, Glenn.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, you're very intelligent. I know you sometimes fool us that you're not, but you are. And underneath it all,
It's part of the trickster thing.
yes, there is a word. I have a beautiful Japanese girlfriend, not girlfriend like kiss girlfriend, but a beautiful, wonderful artist called Hitomi. And she would know immediately. You fill the cracks of a broken pot, and in mending it, you remend something that was thought to be broken or lost, and you bring it back to life, and in a sense it's stronger. It's gone through, it's died one death, right? But it is back. And so this has the cracks, the scratches. You're supposed to do it with gold, I think, with the Japanese method. Has a wonderful name. I'm very fond of, in my ignorance of what I know of Japanese culture. They do beautiful things, and
you've been influenced by a lot of cultures.
I love their slide doors, don't you?
Yes.
Pocket doors rule. I mean, please, you don't have this.
I know.
Here we go. Hold on.
Oh, gee. You have been working.
Well, this is going to a wonderful guy called Zach, who saved me on the road, tireless in tear, or, you know, that's a pun on tear, which is, I can't do it, can you? You're puncturing your own, stop it. It is it has wisdom, and then it has that beautiful girl I told you about, my late wife, which is hers. To the north, place of wisdom, give me the wisdom to remain wild. Jan Beaver Gallion. So it's a double piece. It's for him. He's a great lad. He's putting tires on cars at the moment down in Warlish, right? They're all great down there. He's extraordinary. He's a very, very, very intelligent guy. Do I mean by that he could be better than putting tyres on cars? I don't mean that. They're great all down there. It's a wonderful service. But I'd seen him in different situations, and I saw him there. But instead of him being caught up in his own thing, I messed my tire up so badly. It had 2 screws in and a razor blade attack. I don't know who did the rest. Anyway, he said, there's no way this can be mended. And he pulled off the only tire that my wonderful Mercedes. But anyway, that's it. And he's having this. I just fixed this door. So
we don't have you fixed doors.
This is Slumberland.
Ah, yes.
And this is where I write, mostly.
Yeah.
And it faces north. So you get the north light. If you were being a proper artist, you're supposed to take north light and, do your stuff.
We got some reflection there.
Yeah, well, that's Osiris who gets put back together,
okay,
right, and all that. But I guess what to say about this is, look, is evidence.
Evidence of work.
No. Leave your troubles behind. We will take our walk before they ring the earthly bells. So I write. These are supposed to be.
I just saw that on Facebook. And
Yeah. So it went down there, but I try. Look, I've even got a Bible here.
Oh, jeez, how come it doesn't burn when you touch it?
So look, here's where I'm from.
Oh, okay. Yes, it is. I thought Steve's at first.
Right. Is that wonderful International Video Poetry Film Festival that I went to, thanks to Ada. And it's Ada who made, she made The Girl, Pass the Fair, and her then husband made the helmets. It don't always go that well. Don't work with me is all I can say. And I'm gonna.
Oh wait, what do we have here? What's this?
Oh yeah, that is the Cherokee love song.
Oh.
May the bright cloak of happiness shelter you from the blue rain of despair.
Oh, neat.
And of course that's what you say, to the girls, but I mean at the same time you're selling it to the even better good looking one around the corner. Sorry, no, I wouldn't say that. Why do you always look for what you're most afraid of? Awaiting treachery as the groom awaits the bride in the great cathedral of your poisoned mind. Tell me how the flower opens of itself to the sun, of the earth moon drunk, night worms wriggling us alive, yet a shadow is cast from you, from no celestial glow I know, but the knife in the back silhouetted in the loom of your heart. Surely you come guaranteed by your hungering greed. Enough. Notes that I take. Look, this is a very good photographer, and I wish you could do work like this.
Yes.
I really wish.
I'm working on it.
I wish you could do work like this.
If I had a decent model, damn it.
So
We won't go to Anna.
So here, look, this piece here is written on steel. It was given to me by Drew. He gave me this to put books on, but I couldn't put it back together, right?
Yeah.
This was some Hollywood idea of how to... They were giving me something that was beyond Lego, Glenn, right? I thought, if I put this... the time it takes me to put together, I could have read the Bible and the dictionary, So these are pieces of it, but I want to point out to you these are words from a Palestinian poet, right? A woman. Your eyes aren't eyes; they are bees. I can find no cure for their sting. Right?
I know.
Imagine that in Arab, in a language I would have to hear it in Arabic and then with the translation, because it's a very guttural, beautiful language, and I love all that.
Well, can you really translate poetry, though? I mean, doesn't it lose something? I mean, there's a certain beauty in the way the words go together, and when
you can't. You can't, but thank God people do, because some of my favourite poets. I mean, you know, I was reading a great German poet last night, and I cannot read German, and I can't read. You know, Kafka is translated from German, and Kafka's my favourite. Kafka's my favourite writer, translated. And so is Dostoevsky, and I can't read Russian either, which is pathetic because some people can. But anyway, look, what I love about these are the people that end up in my stories, and I write them down like this, Glenn, because this gives two sides to her, right? Look, she's talking about the man she loves here, right? Yeah. Your eyes aren't eyes, they're bees, and I can find no cure for their sting. It's like he looks at her and she's taken, right? But then there's another line. When sisters sit together, they praise their brothers. When brothers sit together, they sell their sisters to others. Oh. Now that rhymes, but I don't know if I cheated. Maybe I do that. I try and make it. Okay. And here's one that I adore. It's not us we see. Mm-hmm. And I have to bring it up because this was a wonderful Scottish poet. And this is just part of this great poem he wrote about going to sea. So that somehow, I'm going to say this to you, as though you and I are trying to have a conversation. Oh, actually, no. This is you and your girlfriends. This is not.
Yeah, the mythological girlfriend.
This is wicked. But
it's like a minotaur.
1, 2, 3. So I was bringing this up to Glenn and his love life. I'm teasing him. Mine doesn't exist. At least he's in the. At least he's in the list.
Hey, one date.
Just one date. That's all it took. Here we go. This is the wonderful Sidney Graham, who was in Cornwall when I was there. He was more my father's generation, but he was a amazing poet. And this is the little piece out of a long poem of his about going out into the ocean on a fishing boat. So that somehow something may move across the court habits of language to you and me, because from where we are, it's not us. We see, we go to see. All right? It's not us we see. These two up here are very beautiful, and they're based on the Hindu concept. So they're
there's two?
Yeah, here.
Okay. I thought.
And this, you know, and it's also about sex and clitorises and all that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And
I vaguely remember.
Yeah. And it's the I Ching as well, because it's 8 8s of 64. So it's all, you know, it's all, and it has got what it is on the back, but we can't go there because I might have changed the story. So this one here, you can only see it if you see it in the dark. Again, we seem to go erotically to you all the time, Glenn. It glows in the dark, though.
As long as I'm in there someplace.
You can only see it if you see it in the dark. Comes out of a Native American, like in the sweat lodge, in the dark.
Yeah.
And apparently, there is a scientific description for how, with no light at all, the brain and the eye, I don't know, they somehow, the wrong word obviously to say articulate, but they somehow pick up this phosphorescent thing or whatever, and you see greens and yellows, or you see forms, or you see spirit, or whatever it is. And so that is saying, it's not always a good idea to think light is going to, turn on the light, everything's going to be all right. You need the dark to, well, we know all this, but anyway, you need the dark to disappear into, to lose everything, to lose your ego, and then to see this glittering, I don't know, stigmata story, other world energy come through. I'm not trying to be hippie about this. I mean, I just think that, I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, and all that. There is this energy about. All right?
All right.
I'm going to take you into, this is another one to mention with the Adam. Hey, Adam.
Up and Adam?
Come on, baby.
That's what you could name it, Up and Adam.
I could.
Only with the ADAM.
I could, but you write that down and try and lose it. And this is one that this is kind of crazy. It may be better to talk about how they're made than to try and explain. Something I wanted to mention when you were looking at those two there is. When I was brunged up in St Ives, Glenn, I was brought up. I was an altar boy, right? I've altered now, but I was an altar boy, right? And I still remember the Stations of the Cross. You sort of know what they are?
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, so they all look, in a way, they have that Christian Catholic Stations of the Cross, the Christ traveling to get crucified. So all these pieces tend, they have that form. Even this has that form, right? The arched thing. Anyway, this, do you know Drew Gennell a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So the girl that came to help me with the film, Ada A. Thorpe, who is also owns her own boat now and is a great sailor. We were preparing our film, and I'd never seen anybody do this before. We were in Drew's place, and her bedroom had a very grand, large mirror on one. Window. Right, but it was a fixed window. I mean, I think it was a crazy building, and the place, they've got this window in there where normally it would be a wall. So she had a paint stick, those ones you go, and I can never make work properly. And all the bloody paint comes out at once, right? And you've got the great blots. She wrote this. While I was bullshitting away, she actually wrote some script. It bit reminded me of when Tom Waits was with Keith Richards. I don't know if I'm playing Keith Richards or Tom Waits in this. And Keith Richards said, "We need a scribe," right? Because they were jamming away. And what he's basically saying was, if you don't write this down, Tom, we got fuck all. And I've done my writing in my time with, that guy Mick and all that. Anyway, so she wrote this, Glenn, on the window, and that's me photographing that off the window because it all got taken off. And so I was bullshitting, and she wrote it. They weren't my ideas, they were her. She was listening to me and thinking, what he's talking about will never fucking work. This, though, might, Yeah. She may not have thought that immediately, but, thank God. So look, looking around in an old church, and we had this chest, the hope chest. You know what that is, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's what girls keep under their bed for their wedding, right? Yeah. And we had this chest in our film, The Return, that everybody was dragging around. Oakley dragged it out of the river, and that beautiful, where you shot me going down my studio. Yeah. We had him dragging it up that. Oh, Jesus. So it was like your history, your soul, your past. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So she said, playing, looking around an old church, the chest found, you start dragging it around. First part for both is searching, excitement, discovery of love, sex. It becomes heavy and drags. Some eat pills and die inside. Some carry it their whole lives. Some put wheels on it. Some throw it and get rid of it, and it comes back before you. I thought, I saw that written and I photographed it, and then under here I placed her hope chest, and I guess, is that a chalice? Is that...
Well, that's true. That is kind of a chalice, yeah. Or the Holy Grail.
Or the Holy Grail. And this is a kind of... this is one, less finished than the others. Yeah. And I thought about doing it, but I don't know. There's something about it. The other thing that I should say about my work is that because I write and I make film, these in a way have also, this is not what they are separate, but they are also props. They're like, you could see our heroine walking by them. You know what I mean? And our boy could see himself stuffed, taxidermied by his last lover, right? That's about all he was good for.
Yeah, that's turnabout. He stuffed her.
Here's an earlier drawing.
I'll think about that.
That's an earlier drawing that is called Fragment. Right, and I worked on that a long time. And again, you can see all this stuff. Like trying to get the form in the right place, and then I think in the end it just is like a palming set. It's just coming through. South here. Why would the south be there? That's interesting. I can't remember that. I wish I hadn't bought that up.
Well, I've done that on dates.
I like these. These are my temples of touch. Here's my bottle if you need it.
There you go.
And there is the piece that I did for the animals in Britain, but I couldn't afford to send it.
Neat.
For the dolphins. And then this is how I put my notes up. And also it helps to put it right there because it covers the dirty ditches in the kitchen.
I'll have to use this method, believe me, as soon as I go home.
But look, you got to look a little bit because I loved finding this out. I use these as characters. The Cornish list, the right of ill wishing. So we had a law back in our day, Glenn, and I could ill wish you, except if I was wrong in doing that, it would come back and bite my derriere. I'm trying to clean this up now.
Well, that's a voodoo.
Instead of saying ass, I'm trying to go derriere.
You're doing wonderful.
All right. And then look. This is another one off the bed. Oh, you don't miss me. You don't miss me anymore. Oh, you're done missing me, that's for sure. You just don't want me anymore. Anyway, it goes, it's one of those lovely love songs. But there's notes all over the place. Look, like, I have the chorus turn up, like I said before, right? So the chorus is hypocrisy. And there was lock 'em up and his sister throw away the key. That is everyone except me. There was shit hits the fan and follow the plan. And there was a guy called Jehovah with his doppelganger Beelzebub. I don't know which was worse. Anyway. And then I had this amazing thing. I have to tell you this one because this is a question, okay? So how much did it cost you? All the cash I had on me. And you had to climb into their office? Through a second floor window? Off a fire escape? Well, sure, I followed them. That's the way they entered too. they had printed on a large card law offices of. So this girl is trying to get a divorce, but of course her lawyers can't afford an office, so they borrow an office when the guys go out to lunch, and the way they do it is go up the fire escape, but then they come back early. So she's asked what happened, and she said, well, we couldn't do it, we had to leave. And they all get out. I've seen people do it in New York. I mean, not that, but go up the fire escape and in the window. And it came to me as a way of being funnier about this divorce thing and giving it, I think the term in literature is picaresque. It's what the famous Spanish Don Quixote is a picaresque novel because he's taken the piss out of everything that's happening, right? You know, I mean, when he's tilting windmills and all that, tilting at windmills. All right. Well, listen, I think one more thing.
I'm curious.
This lovely boy, you know, we need.
Oh, it's a little. Is it a girl or what?
No, that is Don Quixote. Well, you can. That is my. He is the son. He's the brother of my son Siddhartha.
Oh, okay.
So he has the same mom.
Oh, okay.
And he has a different. And the dad is the reason we got down here. The dad was born. His Oakley's father was born in Fort Smith, and they used to come down to see his parents, who are still around and still there and are very lovely people. And they used to come by Eureka Springs, and it was Clear Spring School that was the jewel in the crown of Northwest Arkansas that they wanted my son Siddhartha to go to, and things changed, and my house burnt down. That was kind of helpful, and it must have been a cosmic, and so Sidney and I came down here. It must be now 12 years ago, 10 years ago, and he is having his Oakley. There are some Native American guys coming next Saturday, and he is having his I don't know, step into masculinity, not masculinity,
bar mitzvah, but
becoming a man. It's the man thing. Yes, bar mitzvah. Okay, and they've put the arrow in the air, and they have sweat lodges there and all that. So, and I'm going to be there for that.
You know, I was wondering what brought you to the Ozarks? Why did you pick the Ozarks?
Because of that.
Oh, okay.
Because of Greg being married my ex.
Oh, okay.
And came down here, and it's been great, and I'm very glad that it's happened.
Well, yeah. Once you got here, you had the option to leave. You must have found something here.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. I mean, you know, I even meet people like you.
It could get better, don't worry.
So it was.
The day is early.
It was Katrina that got you here, right?
Yeah.
So a hurricane got you here, a divorce got me here.
There you go. A storm of one type or another.
It wasn't a divorce, but yeah. But I think and these are all my. These are all the CDs that I've made, and so I have lots of music and plays and all kinds of stuff.
You play music?
No, I occasionally sing.
Oh, okay.
There is a drawing of the young man a long time ago with his daddy. And that is where we lived, just down below Woodstock. And that was the path we used to take.
I'm glad you're close to your son, you know. Not all parents and children can coexist, it seems.
Well, you know, we're close enough. I'm sure he'd like to personally murder me, but...
Well, you're not worth enough yet.
No. He was here yesterday helping me. He put the hangers up for 2 or 3 of these. We were supposed to be picking the wonderful vehicle that he and his girlfriend are getting. as a gift.
Yeah.
It's a Buick. And did you know? Because I do poetry, I thought, why the hell was it called a Buick? It's a lovely word, but what does it mean? And guess what it means?
What?
It means a honey house.
A honey house?
Yeah, I thought that would get you going. The B is B, as in bzz, and the wick is the ancient British word for a farm. So it's a honey farm.
Okay.
It wasn't actually a beehive, I don't think. It was a depot back in the times where people would come and get the honey.
Okay.
So it was called a beewick, and it became a Buick.
Yeah.
And then
that's wild.
And then the guy that invented the overhead heat engine was called Reggie Buick. And guess what? He invented that engine. They used his name. He died 10 years later, too broke to even get his ass in a Buick.
Oh, gee.
Anyway, stories.
That's the way it goes, too.
So I think we're done, sir.
I think we are. The only thing is, you mentioned wanting to talk a little bit about nature. And is that for another one, or should we do something about that?
I don't know if I can do that.
Actually, yeah, this is good.
I have... No. Yes. No. Wait.
Okay.
Did we? No. Look, we'll have to do it later because I have this whole piece about the stars, but I want to use that with the project that you've wonderfully invented and brought up for us, which is Crown Thorn. And more I'm realizing from that piece I was reading you by Thomas Pynchon that I started.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mason-Dixon line, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that Mason was an astrologer.
I didn't know.
And he took... that's how they measured. That's why that line's so fucked up at Delaware.
That's
Stop
wild.
it. What did Delaware? A Mason-Dixon line. Hey, no, but there's wonderful writing in there by Thomas Pynchon, by the way. Any of you who haven't read him, he is superb. It's brilliant. It's lyrical. It's loving, and it is wild. And I've had the book for 3 years, and I finally read it. There's a piece about the stars and the layout of everything, where he's got Mason talking about it, and it's brilliant. And I thought that we could use that maybe in another interview later, but I want to use it because the Magi came and found Christ, right? In the not in a temple, not in a palace, in a bloody manger, not even in a hotel, right? In the cheapest, well, not even in the no-tell motel, in the stables, right? He was born in what the donkeys at the hay straw out of.
Oh, Jesus.
So, but they come and they do it astrologically because they follow a star. So that, I've known this. I went to school for this. I mean, I don't go to school for this, but my priest did think I was going to be a pope until I was 9. And he caught me around the back of the altar with red-haired Shirley with the blue eyes and the lips.
Geez.
Anyway.
I know her, yeah. she came to New Orleans one time. She was on a tour with a bunch of other girls.
So Shirley Bennett, you were not. I assure you.
That's right.
This Shirley is married, and her husband's a big boy.
I'm sorry, believe me.
We may have to cut this out of this.
I'll be sorry if he.
Shirley, you were lovely, and it didn't go that far, but I lost track on being the Pope after that. Anyway, of course, there were popes who had mistresses, wives, and a lot of money.
That's the only reason I want to be a pope. Start that tradition again.
They also put a lot of money into art. They did that bunch.
Yeah,
but
true.
Anyway, I don't know where I've gone with this now. I wanted to bring in a Crown Thorn because somehow that guy Mr. Reed, right?
Yeah.
He found that place. I'm not saying he was necessarily followed a star to it, but he followed something to it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a path. And I sent a picture of it that I took out with a little poem attached to it. And do you know what somebody said? And I tried to do a clean-limbed poem. I tried to not be funny, and I just tried to describe this place here.
Yeah.
And I described a girl who knocks at the door and opens the door. I guess the muse, right? It was actually it was our favourite actress that we can't get to act. Anyway, I had Shannon at the door. That's who I visualised.
Yeah.
And she opened the door, but then I described the space of everything outside, and where you look, and that you look west, and that's the place of dreams and the orientation. And I described the shadows falling on the moon. Much more practical writing than I normally do, which, quite frankly, Glenn, is fucking hard because it's like observational drawing. You got to write what's there, right? I mean, that's. Whew. I knew it was difficult because I'd tried it before. I did that, and then what I loved about it was I could put that block of like math in there, like how everything fitted together, and then she came through the door. So she's waiting in the door, and that kind of, like a film, it sets it up, and then you almost forget about her, but then she comes through that door, and then I can't say anything to her. I can't say hello. I can't, because her presence is so... Well, you know this. You must know this. We obliterate things to get by.
Yeah.
But every human being does have a soul or an aura or whatever. I mean, again, I'm sounding like I've gone hippie or something, but I don't mean that I put down to my hippie friends. I don't. We have auras, right?
Yeah.
Or some of us do, or some of us don't. But
You've been around me too long.
but see, he claimed the joke. I knew this would happen. I'm his bloody straight man. It doesn't matter what happens. I got to be the straight man to this trickster from New Orleans. Anyway, I loved writing it because I said I couldn't say a word, and her eyes were blank. You know those hot-looking girls, but their eyes are blank. But she saw everything. So it's like that, that look? Yeah. But it's like, fuck you look as well. Or not necessarily that, just deeper than you are. Like you think, oh my God, I hope I haven't got some dark spot in my soul. I got a lot of dark spots. But are they showing, And she came in, and then there was suddenly, I didn't use the word bliss, thank goodness, but that's the best I can come up with. But there were no words, which sounds extraordinary for me, because listen to me. And that's what, in that poem there about being in prison, the cruelest thing you can do to anybody is take space and light and movement away. To incarcerate, and as for that bloody, what's it called? When they bang you up, solitary, in a small space with no light. It's like, who would you do that to? You certainly wouldn't do it to yourself. Anyway, she exemplified the opposite of that. I was trying to tie that in with those kings from Orient far, one in a taxi, one in a loco, one smoking a cigar. No, but
it sounds like Groucho Marx was one of them.
He would have been great.
He would have been great as one of the...
You do realise I'm Jewish and I'm not, and I ain't in this club.
I wouldn't put that myrrh in your mouth. Hey kid,
you know where? Do you know where that myrrh's been, Frank? And Frank, you've got no sense. Stop. So, But we're supposed to. This is an ad.
I'm trying to be serious. I really am.
This is an ad for Thorn Crown. It's going downhill fast.
It is.
I think we're done.
Okay.
And it's lovely always talking to you because you are very. You allow things to happen. Some of them shouldn't happen. But look, I've got the girls coming in there. I've got to clean the kitchen up.
Yes.
Super.
Yes, really. This is great. All right.